Last month, I shared a video where I made a page inspired by the front porch pallet wood Christmas tree made by my husband and son. I think this just might be a series or at least a good playlist. So here's my next inspiration. Now, don't worry at this next clip. I promise I'm only holding my phone and was looking at the road the whole time, but you can probably tell that by the poor quality of the video. Every morning when I drive my son to his work-based learning assignment, we drive through this very nondescript, basic brick industrial park that all looks the same until you get to this building. Now, green is my favorite color, so this building just captures my attention every time. I don't know what they do in there, but I am totally obsessed with the front of this building. All I can think of is how pretty it is and how cool it would look as a background in my photos. So I'm going to make a page out of that. Spoiler alert, it comes out amazing. I'm going to show you this first so that I can kind of explain to you how we're going to do this. First of all, I love it. I think it's so beautiful and it looks like that gorgeous building. And it's going to be a beautiful background for my photos. So what we've got here is I mimicked the two large tiles at the top of the building, and then just to add symmetry, I did the same thing at the bottom. So these are just a little bit less than 6 inches wide, and the reason is because we're going to put all this on a black piece of cardstock so that you could see the black coming through, which looks really good. So these are about 2 inches high, although we may trim the bottom ones down a little bit, or if you want things really symmetrical, we can trim them both. Then we've got 10 rows here, and these are 3/4 inches tall, 10 rows of those, and there is no pattern here. There is just no pattern. That's what I noticed in the building. Sometimes they'd put green next to green, white next to white, just no pattern at all, and that's why it looks so cool, I think. So I think it's going to be a really cool background to my photos. So if you like things to be perfect, that's when we can take a ruler and you can start building from the inside out. And mine is not perfect, this one that I made, because you can see my zero centering ruler is kind of up on this edge, but I don't think it matters. To me, it's a little bit easier to start at the top, but I'm just going to tell you that if you want to build from the middle out, you can do that, and then trim what you need to off of these big pieces here. I'm going to just start at the top and come on down, and we'll see how that goes. Here are the tools that we'll need. You'll need your 12-inch trimmer, the personal trimmer. You don't have to have the personal trimmer, but it makes it much faster. You'll need a pair of scissors, and I prefer the micro tip scissors. And you'll need your repositionable tape runner. And if you like things to be really, really, really exact, a ruler will be helpful, especially our zero centering ruler. I'm going to coordinate my colors with the beautiful building since my favorite color is green. So here's what we'll need. I'm going to use black for the base, so it will show the exact color coming between these tiles. Then I'm going to use Creative Memories Kelly Green, and then an older Creative Memories cardstock called Lichen, and finally white. We don't need full sheets of these. We need most of a sheet of green, but you're not going to use a full sheet. But we do need one full 12 by 12 sheet of the black. And you can, of course, use any colors you want to and just make a different combination of 3 colors on top of the black. It's totally up to you because you want to match your photos, because it's all about the photos. But I can promise you I have plenty of things that are going to match green. We're going to cut 4 strips of our 3 colors. And here's the measurement you're going to use. 3/4 inch. 3/4 inch. So let's start with our green. And you want to make sure you're very consistent with this because we're going to be lining up different colors next to each other. So we want to make sure all our cuts the same. So one thing I've been doing is I'm putting it right all the way up to the 3/4 inch line, but where I can still see the line, if that makes sense. I'll let you zoom in here, close up there. So I can still see that line somewhat. And I'm going to just make sure I do that every single time. So let's do 4 cuts. And again, I'm just making sure that I see the line because, you know, there is room for error here if we don't do something like that. They may not all be exactly the same. All right, now I'm going to repeat that process with the same method that I'm using with the lichen gray and then with the white. Wonderful. Now we've got 4 very identical stripes. It looks like I did a really good job there of cutting. They all feel exactly the same, which is going to help when we're lining them up. Now we're going to take our dominant color, which is the green in this case. You can use different colors if you want. And we're going to cut two 2-inch strips. Now we're going to take our two 2-inch strips of the green and cut it in half at 6 inches. Do the other as well. I'm doing it this way, as you'll see, because just the 6-inch measurement is a little bit easier. Now, we are going to trim a little bit off of these, though, and it's best to trim almost 1/8 inch, a very short 1/8 inch there. So, as you can see, I've got my paper lined up on the inside of that dotted line there, so I know it's just a little less than 1/8 inch. So let me do that with all 4 of these. The reason we're doing this is because I don't want to, we're going to use these as the big tiles up top. And if they're too big, the black is not going to show through. Next, I'm going to use the personal trimmer, just because it's faster doing this, and just trim off random measurements of different colors. Some are long, some are short. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And some of these we're going to have to trim again if they're not perfect. I'm not, getting them exactly right. I'm just doing this actually randomly. So I'll go ahead and finish this out, speed things up, and we'll keep going. Make sure you press your strip of paper all the way to that ledge at the top of your personal trimmer. This will ensure you get a straight cut on the sides every time. Okay, all done. So we can say goodbye to the personal trimmer for now. And now we're going to take one piece of the black 12 by 12 cardstock, and we're going to start applying these. So I definitely recommend Repositionable tape runner. That's the green one, in case we make mistakes. Then we can easily fix it. You can sort of fix it when you have regular tape runner, but it's going to probably rip your paper, I will be honest. So we're going to leave just a tad, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch up there. And I know I'm eyeballing this. That's how I do things. So let's see how this is looking. I didn't tell us we needed the multi-tool, but there it is. So just a teeny bit so the black shows through. Now, if you run into this where it's like, maybe I didn't cut quite enough off of that, simple fix. We're just going to put one and just shave a little bit off of that. I just said we were finished with a personal trimmer. Okay, much better. Now we're going to start building out this with these little tiles, I guess. And I'm just going to do random colors. Does not need to be a pattern, as I said before. Just making it different as you go. So when you get to the end, and obviously I haven't cut them. I mean, I could look and see, ooh, is there one that's perfect? But I doubt there's going to be one that's perfect. Even that one's a little too short. So I'm going to use this long one, and I'm going to put the tape runner down here. And then I'm going to apply this. And then I'll take the micro tip scissors. And I don't want to cut right here at the edge because I need that little bit of black to show. So just eyeballing that, I'm going to come in a little bit and make sure I trim just a little bit of that off. Okay, very good. Now I'll keep going, and let's speed things up a bit here for you. Now you'll notice right here, I can tell, I thought I was doing a great job when I was trimming these with my little 3/4 inch method of seeing the line, but I can tell the gray a little bit bigger than the green right there. But it doesn't bother me too much. Because if there are mistakes, realize you can cover it up with a photo. As pretty as this is, it's not all going to show. If it helps, you can, snip a little part and then take it out off the page and trim it straight right there. That I have found is a little bit easier. Oh, I cut too much. eyeballed it and I cut a little too much. So that one will go back over here and we'll do another one. Nicholas, this is really a bad time here. Oh gosh. Now this one, I think that's a little bit too long there, so I'm going to replace that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Guess what? This is the last row. I always feel like I have so much more to do, but that has a mark on it. I can't use that whole thing, and I've already put tape runner on the side that doesn't have the mark, so I'm going to snip that off. It'll just be shorter. I always think I have to do more when I get here, and I don't because we're going to have these coming in. So this is the last row. It really doesn't take that long. You know, if you're not talking and removing cats, it goes pretty quickly. And as you'll see, you have, oh, that one's perfect. Let's end on a perfect note like that. As you'll see, you have a good bit left over. You can probably get away with that 4 strips, but 3 is not enough. 3 strips are not enough. So not too much waste. Okay, so now if we had done the really perfect way of measuring and starting in the middle, and I didn't, at least it will match my other page that I did. So these, I'm going to have to trim a little bit off. That looks pretty good that way, but I just want a smidge trimmed off down there at the bottom so that I have enough of the black showing up. So it's going to be not noticeable at all that these don't match. So I'm just going to trim just a hair off of both of these. I am really big on eyeballing things, as you know. I like fast pages. Okay. All right, I like that. I'm going to trim a little bit off the end of this one, just a teeny bit. I just think the personal trimmer for this kind of stuff is so easy. It's just fast. I was very confident that I got these right because I'm putting tape runner on them and putting them down. And they're perfect. And now I have not 1, but 2. What amazing backgrounds these are. I absolutely love them. So now let me add some photos. Okay, I'm putting 8 photos on this 2-page spread. And as I often do with pages that are so pretty, I cover up a lot with their photos, but it is about the photos. So if you have any mistakes on here that you don't like or any areas that aren't perfect to you, you can just cover that up very easily. I'm not putting much thought into where my photos are. I like to create a canvas for you guys to just, put your photos where you want to put them instead of having to put them here and there and have certain sizes, because it's sometimes hard to crop photos to certain sizes. You end up cutting out something you don't want to cut out. So I'm going to leave a little bit right here for dates or journaling. And I'm still getting a lot of the good pattern over here. These photos are bigger. These photos are smaller because I was able to crop some. And of course, Nicholas is continuing his pattern of having the fanciest album in the house. Actually, I think these would be a pretty cool cover page as well, if you want to just put one special photo. Usually I like to tilt photos because, you can't mess that up. It always looks kind of cute. But because these are such straight lines, I'm going to go with that and have really straight lines here. So far, so good. It turns out I don't need a lot of journaling for this. Basically, all I wanted is a date. And I'm going to use these embellishments that will complement it. They are Botanical Burst Elegant Embellishments. Now, these, I don't think we ever sold these. I think these were some kind of advisor goodie. Yay. Love to get those. So, it is one big perk about being an advisor. You get some things that we don't sell. So if you ever want to consider that, if you've been thinking about it, check out the link on the screen, or you can click on the link in the description of this video, or send me a question. I would love to answer any of your questions about the advisor opportunity. I'm not ever the best at clustering stickers and embellishments, but I am going to use the Noreen Smith rule of 3 that I learned from her, and that is 1, 2, and 3 locations for your embellishments. And I'm also covering up in this photo that's just a floor vent, doesn't need to be in there. So here we go. You can certainly choose to matte these photos. If you do, I would do a very thin matte in black, I would suggest, and so it would match all the little spaces between the tiles. I chose not to do photo mattes, and that's basically because I am the lazy scrapbooker. Our 2-page spread using this beautiful tile look, I guess I'll call it. I absolutely love it. It's a great background for my photos.
And it looks good in blue too. I hope you have fun with this one. Let's see what inspires me next.